Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy to see you guys. I was so happy to see a lot of you here early in the chat, just visiting and catching up. Love, love, love seeing all of you guys. I'm trying to make sure, okay, that the lighting and stuff is as good as possible. It's hard for me to do these lives and get the lighting just right, but that's okay. I know you guys don't mind. Welcome to Take 10. Good morning, Jessa. Good morning, everybody. I'm trying to see. The comments are not loading. There it is. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jessa and Vicky, Linda and Red. It's 11 p.m. in Australia. Well, welcome. It's actually Tuesday morning, right? Yes, Tuesday morning in the US. I had to double check that just a second. It's Tuesday morning in the US, and we are going to do some Take 10 creativity. The whole idea behind Take 10 is to just play, to have fun, to let your creativity flow, to experiment and try some new things, and to not worry about the final product. So I keep a Take 10 journal, and this one is just an experimental journal. You can see I just try some different techniques, try some different supplies, just a whole variety of things. It's not an art journal that I want to, show off on Instagram or any of that, but it's one that I love because it's some time that has been fun. So we set a timer for 10 minutes and we play for that 10 minutes. I'm actually going to use the back of the page I used last week. This is a wrinkled page, but that's okay. This week I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try using dot art. Dot art is, I've looked it up on Instagram. I want to make sure. Send me a comment if it's still working for you guys because it's not showing up on my screen. Did I lose you all? I'm nervous that I might have lost you. Okay. I think you guys are there. I think you're there. It looks like it's frozen on my screen. Okay. Okay, so dot art is something that I looked up on Pinterest, and it is beautifully done art that can, you use acrylic, there's all these cool tools, and it's very zen, very beautiful. Now, I don't have all of the correct tools, but I wanted to kind of give the technique a try. So what I am going to use, you can't see it, but I have all of my Nuvo crystal drops sitting out here, and I'm going to use that to try my dot art. So here we go. I'll kind of explain it as we go, but let me set my timer. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so the Nuvo crystal drops, if you haven't tried them before, are super fun to use. They remind me of, back in the day, my mom used to have a t-shirt business, and they remind me of like slick paint almost, an acrylic paint, and they're meant to kind of mimic enamel dots, something like that. And that one's bigger than I would normally do for my crystal drops. Dot art, you're kind of working on a pattern, like the mandala pattern. So I'm going to work literally with dots. So you always want to try your crystal drops on the side first because sometimes there's air in the bottle. So you're literally just going to add dots in a pattern form. That one got a little far away for me. And just kind of build from there. And it seemed to me like a really fun technique to kind of try. Let me see. Let me test it out over here. Let me know if you've ever used these Nuvo drops. I love them. Love, love, love. I know. I'd set everyone's echoes off. Okay, I want this one to be a little bit bigger. This is a good technique, playing with your crystal drops. If you have these, sometimes it's fun to just play with them and see what shapes you can create. So what you're going to do with this dot art, now You could totally do this, markers, paint pens, things like that. Good morning, Peggy. I'm seeing some of you jump in now. Nancy, good morning. Sorry if I missed seeing you guys. I know that's what I'm thinking. It kind of reminds me, these kind of remind me of that puff paint. Do you guys remember puff paint from back in the day? Okay, I'm going to try. So with these, you can also do like almost like a little heart. I'm going to come out from here. And again, I'm just freehanding this, so I'm not quite sure how it will turn out. That heart did not work well. There you go. Got to make it a little more distinct. I thought this would be just a great kind of meditation art. You know, I think the goal is to have them be as uniform as possible. So you're really just quiet and still watching the paint kind of come out. You can, again, go on Pinterest and look up some dot art, and it is mesmerizing to watch people create in this way. They do take a long time. These Nuvo drops take a long time to dry. I leave them, when I use them in something, I generally leave it out for at least 24 hours. But they add such a pretty dimension to a page that I love them. Okay, that one got a little bit smaller, that petal. I just thought this would be such a fun technique to perhaps try on a journaling entry, to really take your time. And I can imagine creating an art journal page or a Bible journal page that you come back to. Think of like layering these, because like Alma said, they take a while to dry, so you want to be careful. Okay, well now these are getting kind of funky. It's because I tried to freehand my little petals here. But imagine one that you come back to and you're just adding maybe a Bible page with your favorite verse, and you just want to be able to meditate on that verse, and each time you come back you add another row of dots. Like, how significant would that be to look back and see how that has kind of built up for you? Or an art journaling page, you know, maybe it's the front of your art journal. So maybe every time you do an art journal page, you turn to the front of your art journal and you add to your dots, and then by the time your art journal is done, you then have this beautiful, you know, complex design on the front. I think that would be gorgeous. Do you want a close-up of what these drops look like? So here is what the Nuvo drops look like. Come on. A big rhinestone on the top, like, totally gets me every time. And it has a really fine tip right here. And I love them. Okay, I'm going to do some dots in the middle. I think I can fit in 4 in each of these petals. So you can see how fun it would be to just continue layering and layering and layering and adding and building. When you do typical dot art, it has the paint is a little bit thinner. You meant the flower. Okay, I'll show you in just a moment at the end. The typical dot art is done mostly with acrylic paint, a little bit thinner, and they actually have some different tools that you spread them with, and I'll try that in just a second with this. But like I said, I didn't have all the tools, but I really liked the concept of it, and I thought these Nuvo drops are underutilized in my craft room. I kind of went nuts for them like a year ago, and then, you know, you kind of fall in and out of love with things, and so they were kind of on the shelf, but I've pulled them out again recently. I kind of want, so I don't have the blue that I wish I had. I have like color envy, you guys know that. Okay, so I'm gonna try, so they have, I saw some artists, so they like make the dot and then drag through. So that kind of gives me a different shape. Let's see if I can echo that same. Make the dot and drag through. That's kind of cool. Different shape. And it's fun to just try to see. Now for some watercolor. You're so funny, Peggy. Always with the watercolors. I love watercolor splatters. No page is complete without splatters. Just my opinion. Make that a little bigger and then pull out. So yeah, kind of seeing what shapes you can make. It's fun. It's fun to experiment. Yay! I don't know if this can be used for outdoor projects. I looked on the bottle. It doesn't say. I imagine that this is a form of acrylic paint. So it, you know, I'm not sure how it would hold up. I would imagine you'd want to seal it with something. Like if you were doing, you know, like a paver stone, something like that, which would be gorgeous, by the way. I feel like there must be something that you would want to cover it with, or like a birdhouse or something. I'm making these teardrop. You know, Carol, it is hard. Carol said it's hard to make it the same size, and that's kind of what the practice is for on these crystal drops. Like, if anything, even if you don't want to make one of these, just practicing with your crystal drops, I think, is really important, because you do kind of, you have to get used to it. So like these are not all a consistent shape. So that is something I'd have to practice more if I wanted to continue to make that teardrop. That's what I thought too. Just was saying they're so opaque. That's why I think that they're acrylic. But they're a very thick acrylic because they do hold shape. So while regular acrylic paint would settle, you know, kind of settle out, these will hold their shape. Alexa, stop timer. So you can see this is a technique that you could go and do, for hours, I feel like. So I feel like there needs to be some bigger dots coming around this way. Yeah, you could totally do this for a really long time. You guys, can I just share that I hear next door, in the room next door to me, my kids, my daughter's reading to my son. I love that. Isn't it amazing when your kids learn to read and now they're reading to each other? So cool. So cool, entertaining themselves. Okay, for real. I'm going to finish this purple because we also know I can't do a page without purple on it. So, and I don't want to leave this one half done because my OCD self would not be okay with that. Okay, except my OCD self is seeing that this got a little messed up. Okay, well now it's messing up my pattern because I didn't keep it consistent here. That's okay. That's what practice is for. And I think if you were going to do this on a page, I kind of would want to sketch out a plan first. You know what I mean? Like have an idea of what you were doing and build on from there. And you can have You know, it's called dot art. If you want to have solid lines in it somewhere, by all means, go for it. Now some of these bigger ones are spreading out just a bit. Probably because I'm moving the page too much. Okay, ta-da! Dot art page. Let me just kind of bring it closer so you can see there's dimension to these. You can get the light on it. They are so fun. These are just fun supplies to play with. So a stencil would be a good idea too, Sherry, to draw in real lightly with a pencil. That's an awesome idea. So I feel like you could also, if I'd let them dry, like I was saying before, then just come in little by little and add them closer together. You would get such a beautiful finished product. I think it would be awesome. All right. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Have fun playing this week. Have fun getting creative. Let me know if you end up trying dot art. It's something that I kind of am intrigued by, so I'd like to play with it just a little bit more. I hope you all have an awesome day. I did link the Nuvo crystal drops down below if you are interested in checking those out over at scrapbook.com. They have a gajillion colors, so make sure to check that out. Have an awesome day, as always.